Welcome to the second video in the series looking at the tech trees for the civilizations in the technical stress test. We're going to have a look at the Chinese next, as I have actually played them before, and I need to play the other two sides before I do their video, just so I understand what's going on myself. So, the Chinese have their dynasties, which we'll talk about. They have lots of gunpowder, and they have the ability of expansion, apparently. They're also a very difficult side to play, or so claim the developers. Now, the Chinese can shift their focus across the ages, deploying many unique units and buildings rapidly. Enemies must continually adapt if they want to keep up. You could say that about any faction, to be honest. Anyhow, great dynasties construct both the landmarks in an age to start the dynasties with unique bonuses, buildings, and units. And again, we'll talk about those when we come to the main tech tree. Fire medicine immediately gain the chemistry technology for free when advancing to the Imperial Age. Now, I'm assuming it's just a bonus for gunpowder units, but we'll double check that because it might be that theirs is a special or different one. Now, here we get a list of 4 unique units, which, is that all of them? I'm not sure. I think there's another one because I'm pretty sure they get an Imperial Guard or some such. But anyhow, you got the Zhong Yu, which is a repeater crossbowman, effective versus light units. The Fire Lancer, a light cavalry unit, effective versus buildings. The Grenadier, which throws grenades capable of doing area of effect damage. And the Nest of Bees, which fires a barrage of rockets doing area of effect damage. They like their area of effect damage, basically. Civilization bonuses: the villagers construct defences 50% faster and all other buildings 100% faster. That is a massive bonus, and that's one of the reasons that they can increase to the feudal age faster than the other guys. So for example, in the feudal age 5 minutes that I did in my 1v1 and the video from the other YouTuber, that can be done in 4 minutes apparently with the Chinese. So that's a heck of an increase. And it's Spirit of the Law, sorry, the other YouTuber. The name escaped me for a moment. Now, enter a dynasty by building both the landmarks to provide special bonuses. Again, we'll talk about those. Chemistry technology is granted for free, and docks work 20% faster. So let's go up. So straight away, when you start the Dark Age, you get the Sang Dynasty. This is where scouts gain a plus 30% line of sight. Fantastic for the Dark Age. You get it at the start. Wonderful. No complaints there. You get your town centre, where you can build your villager scout, but also an Imperial Officer, which is unique to the Chinese, which incidentally isn't listed there in the unique units, but never mind. This is an economic support unit with no combat capability. It just simply goes around gathering tax from buildings. Can also be tasked with improving a building's efficiency. Only a certain number of officials can exist at any one time. Can be tasked with improving a building's efficiency. I didn't know that. That's something new to me. I'll have to look into that one a bit more when I play them next. And then you get your textiles in the feudal age, which is just increasing the villagers' health, as the English also get. Then you get the house, then you get the mill, and the mill very similarly has the same upgrades. So you get survival techniques, you get professional scouts, which is the ability to carry the animal carcasses in the feudal age. You get the wheelbarrow, and you get horticulture, all 3 steps of that up to the Imperial Age. Lumber mill, which again has forestry, and the 3 upgrades to collection rates for lumber. Mining camp, once again, 3 upgrades for collection rates to stone and gold. And it's exactly the same percentage as the British, or the English, so I don't know if it's the same for all of them, actually. That's quite interesting. Obviously, some in Age of Empires 2 got all of them and some didn't, so that's interesting. Then you get your farm, which costs 75 wood. There's no discount here like there is for the British. Then you get the barracks, which you get the spearmen in the Dark Age rather than the man-at-arms that you got with the British. You get hardened spearmen, veteran spearmen, and then you get Palace Guard, which is unique to the Chinese, and again, they're not listed there. So this is their version of a man-at-arms, but they are faster than a man-at-arms, but with reduced armour, because I don't think they have a shield, they just have a very nice moon blade, so basically a long pole with a sharp sword blade on the end that's sort of in the shape of a crescent moon. And you get Battle Hardened, which is unique to the Chinese again, and increases the health of palace guards by 30. They're quite good units. It's just a shame you don't get them any earlier. The Chinese are sort of without a melee unit other than the spearmen in the feudal age. Then you get the docks, which again have your fishing boat, your transport ship. You get your trade ship, your junk, which is your archers. You get your war junk, which upgrades to a ballista. Explosive junk, well, it's explosive. And then you get the Baochun. Baochun, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not, apologies. But it's a large sailed war vessel armed with broadside cannons, much like the English get. So, same sort of setup. You get extended lines, and then drift nets the same. Extra hammocks, unique to the Chinese. Junks of the archer ship gain additional crew, allowing them to fire 2 more arrows in each volley. Pretty nice upgrade. Early-ish game. I mean, you don't get that upgrade till Castle Age, but you're still going to be using those types of ships at that stage. Navigator Lookout, which the British get as well, which is your increase the range of the ships in their line of sight and also their weapons range. Additional sails improve their speed, extra ballista, chaser cannons, and explosives, so the same as the English again. It's just that increasing the weapons range by 1 again and increasing the damage of incendiary ships. Let's close that up so it's out of the way. Next you get your Palisade Wall, your Palisade Gate, then you get your outpost. Now, here's a nice difference. When you got the feudal age, instead of getting archery slits or arrow slits, you get hand cannon slits. So the structure can be given hand cannoneers effectively rather than archers. Again, you can fortify it into a watchtower. You can give it the springald emplacement or a cannon emplacement. So it's one of the 3. You can't have all 3, you can't have 2 of them, it's one of those 3. So think carefully about when you're upgrading these, whether you want them all to be the same, or indeed what age you're upgrading them in, since, you know, feudal age, castle age, imperial age. Then you get your first 2 landmarks to go up to age 2. The first is the Imperial Academy, which nearby buildings generate 100% tax gold, so you want to be building this somewhere in the middle of your settlement or leaving a space for it even. And you can have a little look there. So it gets a couple of upgrades. It gets the Imperial Examinations, increases the maximum amount of gold carried by Imperial officials from 20 to 40, and then Efficiency Training, which unlocks the supervisability for Imperial officials, increasing the production speed by 200% and resources gained at drop-off buildings by 20%. Now, I don't remember seeing this. That's interesting. That's really interesting. So, basically, production speed by 200%. So, that would make it 3 times faster? That would be a massive bonus for building troops of any kind. And then you've got the Barbican of the Sun, and this fires long-range hand cannons and adds arrow slits while garrisoned. Offers vision into stealth forests. So that's quite interesting. So forests in this game, which I don't think we've really experienced in any of the videos I've put up yet, you can hide in the forest. You can kind of put units within some of them. Not all of them are very close together in terms of how close the trees are. Some of them are a little bit more spread out and you can hide units in them. Let's get rid of that for now. So you can build one of those to go to age 2, the feudal age, or you can build one, I should say, and then build the other one in the feudal age, and that will give you the Song Dynasty. So we can have a little look at that. So the Song Dynasty, villager production time reduced by 35%. You get the unique building, a village, and you also get access to the Zhongnu, which you don't get otherwise, at the moment anyway. Later dynasties will remove these bonuses, so when you go to a new dynasty, you will lose access to those buildings. So you have to build them now, and you have to build those units now. However, there is a way to get access to it all again, but we'll get to that. So the village increases the maximum population by 40%. Pretty much simple as that. It's quite cheap, 100 wood. big increase to maximum population. Then you get your town centre in the feudal age, which just has the same stuff again. You get the marketplace, which has your trader, which we've discussed. You can send the trader to an allied market or some other buildings, and you can also send the trader to the trade posts that are located on the map, which is for 1v1s or when you don't have any allies or your ally hasn't built a market. Then you have the blacksmith, which again is pretty straightforward. Much like the English, you've got melee damage, range damage, melee armor, and ranged armor technology. Exactly the same as the English. 3 stages, starting in the feudal age, castle age, and then the imperial age. You get siege engineering, which we've talked about as well, and that's exactly the same. Siege towers and battering rams. Melee and range infantry can build them in the field. Simple as that. And then you get the Military Academy. Reduce the time it takes to produce infantry, cavalry, siege, and transport units at buildings by 25%. Does not affect religious units or other support units. So I assume that wouldn't affect, for example, the tax collector. Obviously there's the battering ram and the siege tower. Then there's the Archery Range, which is probably one of the main buildings for the Chinese, because much like the English, they have a lot of advantage when it comes to ranged units. So you get the Archer, and if you build the right upgrade, or both of them I should say, so you get the Yuan Dynasty, you also get access to the Zhong Nu, which fires multiple bolts very quickly. It has a very high rate of fire, as the same unit pretty much did in Age of Empires 2. And then you can get veterans and then elites of both of those units when you go up the next ages. You also get the crossbowmen, you get the hand cannoneers, and you get grenadiers. Now these are again unique to the Chinese. You only get them in the Imperial Age. They deal area of effect damage. They have a short range and a slow movement speed, but they hurl grenades, so they're going to do a lot of damage to grouped units. Stables, you get your scout, you get your horseman, you get your lancer, and then the big one that's of more interest really is the fire lancer, which is unique to the Chinese. I should say the lancer is effectively your heavy cavalry unit, your knight. It's just got a different name. But the fire lancer, that is unarmored cavalry wielding an explosive tipped lance for an impressive charge attack. Charge deals area of effect damage. Effective raiding unit against buildings and siege engines, but it is weak in melee combat. You get your stone wall, you get your stone wall gate, and you get your stone wall tower, which we've discussed. You can build the towers on the stone walls. They act as a set of stairs for troops to be able to get on the walls and shoot over them. And then we're moving straight on to the next upgrades. So the landmarks are either the astronomical clock tower, which is a siege workshop and produces siege engines with plus 50% health for the same price. So well worth it if you're planning to build a lot of siege engines. And then there is the Imperial Palace, which has a large sight radius. Activate to view the location of enemy villages for 10 seconds. So that's quite a nice bonus if you want to do raids on the enemy villages with some cavalry or perhaps some archery units. If you build both of those, you can then get the Yuan Dynasty, which again, villagers, officials, and military units gain plus 15% speed, which is quite nice at that stage of the game when you're probably starting to go and attack the enemy. You get a unique building, the Granary, and the unique unit, the Fire Lancer. Now remember, when you get this dynasty, you lose access to what you had access to previously in the Song Dynasty. So you will lose access to the Zhong Nu, and you will also lose access to the village. Then you get your keep, which pretty much the same as the English. You get the springboard emplacement, you get the cannon emplacement in the Imperial Age, you can have some boiling oil, and you can also have the unique technology, which is extra materials. Stone wall towers and outposts repair nearby damaged stone walls. A single section is repaired at a time for plus 20 health per second. So rather than have to worry about running your villagers up to repair walls after they've been attacked, The gates and the outposts, the stone wall towers, will repair all nearby stone walls, so you don't necessarily have to go and repair them yourself. Then you have the monastery. You got the monk with herbal medicine, as the English did. Piety increases the religious unit's health, and then Tivy or tithe barns. I'm still not sure how I'm pronouncing that, and that gives you plus 30 food, wood, and 30 stone every minute. Siege Workshop, Springbold, Nest of Bees. This is unique to the Chinese. Fires a barrage of rockets, basically. Good area of effect damage against most targets, and especially clumped up infantry. The counterweight trebuchet. You get the Bombard Cannon in the Imperial Age. And again, greased axles increase the speed. You get the roller shutter to add range +2 and reduce their reload time by 25%. Siege Works increase the health of all siege engines by 20% and their ranged armor by 3. Now, we're getting on the unique Chinese stuff. Reload drills reduce the reload time of bombards by 33%. Reusable barrels reduce the cost of Nest of Bees by 25%. And pyrotechnics increase the range of gunpowder units by 20%. So, as you can tell, you're going to be relying on a lot on gunpowder units with the Chinese, and you're going to be wanting to do these upgrades. Then you get your next set of landmarks to upgrade to the Imperial Age. You get the Great Wall Gatehouse, which is basically a massive gate for a stone wall, and it must be built over a stone wall. Increases the health of stone walls and gates by 100%. Nearby troops on walls deal plus 50% damage. So I guess you want that on the main entrance to your base, or where you think the enemy will come from, just to give your defensive troops that extra bonus. The other option is the Spirit Way. Now, this is what I was talking about regarding building the previously achieved dynasty units. You can build this one and it unlocks all of the previous dynasty units, so you can start building them again. So the Zhong Yu and the Fire Lancer. Buildings near this landmark produce dynasty units at minus 30% cost, so you also kind of want to build it where all of your military stuff is going on. If you build both of them, you get the Ming Dynasty, which military units gain plus 10% health. You get the unique building, the Pagoda, and the unique unit, the Grenadier. So the Grenadier you don't automatically get, you have to get the Ming Dynasty to get access to it, which is fair enough. And to pop that open so you can see the Pagoda, a relic can be placed within the Pagoda. It generates 50 food, wood, gold, and stone every 30 seconds and generates tax over time. That's pretty nice. That's certainly an improvement over putting it in the monastery. You get the university, you get chemistry, increases the damage of all gunpowder units by 20%. Geometry, trebuchets by 30%, or rams and trebuchet I should say. Biology increases all cavalry by 20%, the health of that is. Incendiary Arrows increases the damage of range units and buildings by 20%, does not apply to gunpowder units. Court Architects increases the health of all buildings by 30%. Unique to the Chinese, Ancient Techniques increases the gathering rate of villages by plus 5% for each dynasty achieved. So if you've unlocked all 4 of the dynasties, that's a pretty nice gather rate increase. That's 20%. And then you get Elite Army Tactics, increases the health of all melee infantry by 10% and their damage by 10%. And you're probably going to be wanting to use slightly more melee infantry with the Chinese than you probably would with the English. So that probably has more relevance here. And then finally, you can build the Wonder, the Enclave of the Emperor. And that's it. That is the entire tech tree for the Chinese. So slightly different to the English. Certainly more unique units and research opportunities in terms of technology. But is it really more difficult to play as them? I don't know. They're pretty similar. Maybe they think the difficulty comes from the whole dynasty situation, because if you don't remember you're going to lose access to certain units and haven't built them before you upgrade to the next dynasty, then you could be in a bit of a mess. But I hope that was helpful. Please stay tuned for the next 2 civilizations. I just want to play as them a little bit first so I know exactly what's going on with their units. But thanks for watching, please do like, share and subscribe, and please stay tuned to the channel for more Age 4 content this weekend.